Look, I give it to them. If they want to connect with it, God will show them. I'm not here as an individual show and tell act.
Right.
Period.
Right.
You went into a tree. You talked with the bush. You talked with trees. You actually know that you communicated with another living people, tree people, bush people, plant people. Whether you want to doubt it or not, you cannot doubt that something did take place. Was it your imagination? That's something you're going to have to wrestle with.
Right.
And that's not my problem. My problem is teaching you how to connect. What you do with that is your business. I tell people don't believe a thing I tell them, but to check on it. And I have given you methods to check on what I've told you. If you still want to deny it, no big deal. I mean, that's between you and the Creator.
Right.
I've done my job. And I don't need to go out and prove it. You see, in the training that I've received, it is right along on the Christ follower side. You hear something, you might even hear how to do it or whatever. Then you have to test it to find out if it's doable. If it's doable, you test it and test it and test it until you're absolutely satisfied. Nothing within yourself has stopped it by trying to fly or something like that. Until you're absolutely, beyond any doubt, satisfied that was a wrong piece of knowledge given to you. And then you reject that knowledge. But much of that knowledge given to you, in your consistent testing to find out, it will come to be. And then you know it. So you know this is truth. You've learned it. You've tested it. You've flown. You talk to a tree. You know, on and on and on. Set it aside. Just use it when it's needed. It's right there in my brain. The testing has happened, and it's given me the knowledge, i.e., if you want faith, and that's a wrong way to put it this way, because you know it. It goes beyond faith.
Right.
That it's usable when it's needed. So when it's needed, even if I don't pull it forth deliberately, and I hope I never do, it just happens, I'm not afraid. If it happens that I'm walking along and all of a sudden I'm 40 foot in the air walking along, big deal. Now, without the knowledge that I've done similar, gotten up and flown, it would be a heck of a big deal. 40-foot drop is sure beats 5.5 by a lot. So the experience is there. But just leave it there. Let the Creator control what needs to be done when it's needed. Many of these things may never be needed. I die not doing a number of these things, I'm fairly certain. But you see, I've learned through Inner Hayoka, and the great teacher of the Inner Hayoka is Christ, which is in that book. I've learned that trust is not having to redo, to check, because that is doubt. Yeah, I did it. I'm sure I did it, 10, 15 years ago. I gotta redo it. You can say I gotta rehash it. It's still doubt. You want to experience it again. No, if you've done it, you've done it. Trust. Have that faith. It's done. And then when it's needed again, big deal. It just happens. I tell people you got to have that childlike mind. And one of the part of a childlike mind is just trust dinner's going to be done when dinner time comes. You don't have to sweat going out there and hunting down the chicken and the eggs and killing the beef. Mama's going to take care of dinner. You just accept it as fact. Dinner will be there. And so you learn.
This is exactly where he was having his problem.
Yeah, and this
I was trying to explain to him that.
Yeah, I mean, this gets right to the final thing, and then we can move on. But the other thing that concerned me, because again, it's a concern that we have in our own lives, that we have had, that Willow has had in the work that she does, and it's apart from the teachings aspect of all this and the revelation to other people and the public display and all that, there's your own life and your own comfort and your own well-being. And what I was wrestling with was, whether you couldn't make your own life a little easier.
I am.
Than
I am.
you are.
Oh, yes, for a long, long time. I'm almost 60.
Mm-hmm.
And we've lived in an abandoned city bus way out in the woods,
Mm-hmm.
My wife, my daughter, and myself.
Mm-hmm.
We literally had a bucket with a seat on it, so we had a pot to piss in, if you want. And I've had to go out to poach to eat. Talk about poor. I had to pray in at the time, I think it was a 22-cent stamp. I didn't have a penny to hope for another penny. I've had to go out and make my own ink out of soot from the tree and blackberry juice. And I had nothing to write with, so I made my own pen out of a goose feather. I had nothing to write on, so I took old newspaper, I sopped it up, and I made paper. I had no envelope, so I made more paper, took an old envelope, and traced it, took it apart, traced it, made a new envelope out of this homemade paper, and penned on the envelope. I had no way of sealing it, so I took my own blood to seal the thing, and I finished it with a piece of wax.
He wants to know why.
Now, I have learned in my life what poor is, and given what's coming up, you better come to me and rely on my knowledge that the Creator had put me in almost all my life. Because, kid, you ain't going to make it. You haven't got the brains to be poor. All right? Now, it sounds mad mean, but it's true.
Well, from what you were saying,
I have been gloriously blessed with poorness. And tired of it. Right? Now, so what am I going to do about it? I've done that for a number of years. I said, God, all in your timing. And it is coming.
Well, I just told him that last night. I'll tell you what I said to him, because he was really feeling strongly about where you are and why, and trying to sort out in his mind all of his questions. If he has these abilities, why doesn't he just take that piece of wood and make it into gold and go get some?
I have that ability. I've done it.
Right.
Right.
Why don't you do it, he's saying, why don't you go do that now to make yourself more
Because it's me doing it.
That's what I tried to explain to him.
If you're going to trust the Creator, if you're going to trust dinner is being made, then damn it, trust it. If dinner takes 60 years to be made, big deal. When you eat, you're going to get a big feast. I trust the Creator. He is Daddy. Period. I might be almost 60, but I am a little baby. There's Daddy. So it's happening. My wife sees it. I see it. My friends see it.
That's what I was telling him last night. I said, honey, I want you to hear me. There is no doubt in my mind it's taken care of for this man. I feel it. I know it. I see it. I'm aware of it. It's all being taken care of. Everything's fine. And he said, well, I know you do, but, you know.
Well, all I can say, if you don't believe it, call up, tell everybody, take care of your dogs until they die. I'm going to stay here and follow Red Elk and see what happens. Because that's the only way you're going to see it, is see it happen. I don't make it happen. I trust Mommy's cooking dinner, and it's time to eat when it's time to eat. I've had more people, well, prove it, prove it, prove it. And I've said the same thing to them. You want proof, you come and live with me, and if somebody happens to have a need during that time,
You'll see it. Yeah.
then you'll see it. But I'm not going to pull it out of the hat. That is self. I'm sorry, it might just satisfy a lot of people. But that's those doubting Thomases and those ones that want to jump from the bandwagon